Final Project by Meg and Amanda. There are many different types of education. One of the most debated topics in education is how public education works.
I'm a 7th grade student. Grades have been a constant problem in my life. I am awful at taking tests, but that doesn't always mean that I don't understand the information. We are taught more to the test rather than spending the time to really learn the information. We memorize the information rather than learn it.
As a student, I've experienced many things revolving around grades. Some brilliant students who aren't as good at taking tests or quizzes get thought of as less smart by teachers and peers because of their grades. The school is focused on grades, and they just test students and use a grade to tell if they're smart or not. The grading system as we know it today unfairly judges students using tests. These tests and quizzes don't effectively show a student's actual knowledge, rather their ability to take a test.
I have loved school up to middle school. In elementary school, learning was fun and taught in an interesting way that is easy to understand. In middle school, learning is approached through textbooks and worksheets. I am a person where I have a hard time understanding information without examples. The way we are taught, we basically memorize information instead of understanding it. Once the test is over, we, the students, forget a lot of the information.
I've had many teachers in my years of school. Without a doubt, my favorite ones have always been the ones who present the facts and the information we need to know in an interesting way. Once I got to middle school, many of my teachers don't even try to help a student learn in a more interesting way. They simply lectures and worksheets up to our necks. This doesn't help kids in a classroom learn, it just makes them want to fall asleep.
The way that teachers present new information really affects many students' learning. They have trouble remembering the information and they end up not enjoying learning. Middle school comes with a lot of stress and work. There's so much homework and stress from studying. I myself have friends who are so stressed that they don't sleep or eat because they study so much. That is unhealthy and unnecessary. There are so much expectations from teachers and parents for their students or kids to do.
Stress from school feels like it multiplies times 10 once you get out of elementary school. Many kids get sleep deprived or emotional because of all that goes on at school. Grades do have to do with this, also that kids have to juggle homework, sports, family commitments, and social schedules all at once. The stress and pressure gets to a lot of kids. It's gotten to me more times than I care to admit. Homework and studying are increasing in amount. There's so much expectation to do good that students work all night at sometimes, studying and doing homework. There's absolutely no time for extracurricular activities. Tony Wagner, expert in residence at a Harvard Innovation Lab, explains, "For too long, the primary focus of education has been the acquisition of knowledge. The whole idea is, if you know more stuff, you're going to be better off, for whatever set of reasons. And the only way to do that is through a teacher. You don't have to do that anymore. Today, content is ubiquitous. It's free. It's on every internet-connected device. It's growing exponentially and changing constantly. The educational system is broken, or at least that modeled," says Larry Rosenstock, founding principal and CEO of a high-tech high, a network of school appending the current framework of California. "We have a system that was created over 100 years ago, and everyone has a mental model that that's the way it has to be." According to Larry Rosenstock, education is outdated and is modeled for a different time. That's an entirely different issue, but it does have to do with the teaching style of today. Administrators and teachers teach like our ancestors did years ago, a way that doesn't apply or work for many students today.
What Tony Wagner is saying is for years education has been focused on increasing knowledge, because in this society, in most cases, the more information you know, the better chance you have at a good career. Years ago, the only way you could get that knowledge was from a teacher, but now Tony Wagner is saying that technology is increasing. Now knowledge can be obtained from many sources such as the internet. The ways to obtain that information are growing and changing every day.
First off, the grading system should not exist. It causes stress and is practically an unfair way to judge how smart kids are. That is the first step to the solution. Also, although there's not a way to enforce this, teachers should try to use other ways besides plain boring lecturing and using worksheets. Kids need to remember to learn. There are two ways to remember: repeating over and over until it's drilled into a kid's head, a method many teachers use, and doing some sort of activity that creates a memory that a child would want to remember. The last thing that should be done to better off education is for schools to lessen the workload they put on children. The amount of work put on these students pressures and stresses them to the point of not sleeping and eating enough. Grades add to this, also getting rid of grades would lessen stress. The question now is, how can we do this? Well, some schools are already. Montessori and Waldorf schools already are changing the way education works.
Montessori is named after Italian physicist and educator Maria Montessori. The way Montessori works is, early on in life, the kids learn through their senses. They have one or 2 3-hour work periods with mixed age and ability groups. The environment is arranged according to the subject area, and children are always free to move around the room instead of staying at desks. There is no limit to how long a child can work with a piece of material.
Waldorf teachers strive to transform education into an art that educates the whole child, the heart and the hands as well as the head. All the children learn to sing, play a musical instrument, draw, paint, model clay, carve and work with wood, speak clearly and act in a play, think independently, and work harmoniously and respectfully with others. The development of these various capacities is interrelated. For example, both boys and girls learn to knit at grade 1. Acquiring this basic and enjoyable human skill helps them develop manual dexterity, which after puberty will be transformed into their ability to think clearly and to knit their thoughts into a coherent whole. Our solution is to change the public schools teaching style and have it closer to Montessori and Waldorf style. The problem is how public schools teach. These easily connect and the solution can be implemented.
We can accomplish this by adapting our teaching styles to the Montessori or Waldorf type of teaching. We can eliminate grades and state tests so education is focused on performance and applying what we learn in class to prepare us for the future. We need to interact in class more, and there should be a connection between the teacher and student.